Hello everyone, welcome to It's Crochet O'Clock. My name is Stephanie and today we are going to be walking through a tutorial that will show you how to crochet the She Sells Sea Shawls shawl pattern by Russell Sansom. He is one of our own, so I am super excited that he allowed me to film the video tutorial for this. The written pattern is also hosted on the It's Crochet O'Clock website. The link for that is down below. For this project, you are going to need 5 balls of your main color in Eco Fusion and then 1 ball of an accent color, also in Eco Fusion. This is Eco Fusion. I have chosen the colors Paris for my main color and then Fawn for my accent color. We are going to be using a 3mm crochet hook, and I know that the whole point of video tutorials is so you don't have to go to the written pattern, but if you are learning to crochet, I highly suggest that you go and download the free pattern from It's Crochet O'Clock and follow along with the instructions. That's a great way to learn how to read written patterns. But more importantly, for everybody, in the written pattern, there is this nifty thing. We have a lot of repeats here. It's a very good Netflix project, but this is in the written pattern. It's completely optional, but even I found it extremely helpful. You can check off every little row that you do, and it also gives you where you should change colors. The highlighted points are where you should be changing color, and it tells you what repeat you're on. It just alternates between 2 rows of repeats for the vast majority of the shawl. This enabled me to get up and walk away and come back and know exactly where I was without actually having to count 110 rows, okay? I put the little stars there because that's when I changed balls when I was working with Paris. But I highly suggest you guys go and get this. You're going to need it. I'm going to talk about it while I'm in the tutorial. It is so helpful, you guys. I cannot stress it enough. So, with that being said, all of the information for this pattern is in the description box below. If you run into some trouble that you cannot, that I don't give you help for in the tutorial, hopefully you won't, but in the event that you do, you can always join the It's Crochet O'Clock Facebook group. Myself, Russell, and all of our testers are in that group, and we had testers from all over the world, so no matter what time of day it is, chances are you're going to be able to get the help that you need a whole lot quicker than you would if you leave a comment in the comment section below, because I have to sleep sometimes, and it's inevitable that I will go to sleep and somebody will have a problem, and I feel bad because I can't help them. So with that, let's get into the pattern. To begin, we are going to make a magic ring. I am a fan of the double magic ring, so I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to wrap the yarn around your fingers. Oop, I need just a little bit more yarn. You're going to wrap your yarn around your fingers 3 times, tuck that tail between your thumb and your forefinger. Insert your hook under the first 2 loops, and then grab that 3rd one and pull it back. It should be able to move freely, just like this. Spin it back around here to the back, and this right here is your working yarn. You're going to grab that working yarn and pull it through, and that is the magic ring. Now we're all ready to go into row 1, and row 1 begins with a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This counts as a half double crochet and a chain 1. Now we're going to half double crochet into the magic ring. And then we are going to begin a repeat. We are going to chain 1, and then we are going to work a puff stitch into the magic ring. Now this puff stitch is a small one, it's a tiny one. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the ring, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert, grab the yarn, pull up a loop. One more time, yarn over, insert, grab the yarn, pull up. You'll have a total of 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3, and then to close the puff stitch you need to chain. That chain does not count as a standalone stitch. It is part of the puff stitch, and that is our repeat. chain 1, and then puff stitch. So we need to do that repeat twice. So let's do this one more time. Let's chain and then puff, yarn over, insert, pull up, yarn over, insert, pull up, yarn over, insert, pull up, yarn over, pull through all 7 loops on your hook, and then chain to close. That is the end of row 1. That's what it looks like. A little bit odd, but that's okay. Now we need to close our magic ring. Now if you're just doing a regular magic ring, you can just go ahead and pull on this tail and close it as tight as you can, but we're doing the double, so we can't do that. Pay attention to these 2 loops right here. One side is going to move. I'm going to pull very gently. You see that top one, how it's moving to the left a little bit? We're going to grab it over here on the right, pull gently on it, and that's going to close that second ring. Now once we get that closed, then we can just pull freely on the tail and close this down. Normally, if you're not a fan of the magic ring, I do tell you that you can do a chain 3 or a chain 4 and then loop, but the problem with this one is this right here becomes the point of our shawl. So you really do need this tight little point right here. So try and do the magic ring. If you can't, of course, you could do the chain and then slip stitch to it, but it's not going to be tight, and then you may end up having a little loop here at the bottom because this is one of the corners of the shawl. So let's get ready for row 2. Okay, for row 2 we are going to turn our work and we are going to chain 1. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch. It's just bringing us up to height. We are going to put another puff stitch right here in between these 2 puffs from the previous row. So we're going to yarn over, insert, pull up, yarn over, insert, pull up, yarn over, insert, pull up. 7 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 7, and don't forget to chain to close. Now we are going to chain 1, and we are going to place a half double crochet in the next chain space. That chain space is right after this puff. We're going to skip over that puff and place a half double crochet there. And there goes our half double crochet. And now we are going to chain 1, skip this half double crochet, and in this chain space right here we are going to work 3 half double crochets separated by chain 1s. So half double crochet into the chain space, and then chain 1, half double crochet, this is our second one, and then chain 1, and 1 more half double crochet. There you go. That is row 2. Looks kind of funky. It does, but I promise you it works out. Let's move into row 3. Okay, for row 3 we are going to turn our work and we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This counts as a half double crochet and a chain 1. Now we are going to place a half double crochet in this first chain space right there. Half double crochet right there. There we go. Now we are going to begin our repeat, and our repeat for this round is chain 1, puff stitch in the next chain space. So we have to do that 3 times. So we're going to chain 1, we're going to move to this next chain space right there and place a puff, yarn over, pull up, and pull up. 7 loops on the hook, pull through all 7, chain 1 to close. That's the first round of the repeat. We need to go 2 more times. So we're going to chain 1, and then in the next chain space, puff, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through all 7, chain to close. So that's our second repeat. We need 1 more. chain 1 in this next chain space, puff stitch, pull through all, and then chain 1 to close. That is the end of row 3. Let's move on to 4. Okie dokie, to begin row 4, we are going to turn our work and we are going to chain 1. That does not count as a stitch, that's just to bring us up to height. Now what we are going to do is we are going to work what I call a framework row. These two rows, these last two rows, 4 and 5, are going to be the rows that you're going to repeat throughout the entire, well, the vast majority of the shawl, all the way up to 110 rows. So obviously I'm not going to sit here with you for 110 rows, but I will explain the repeat to you. So for this row 4, we are going to chain 1, does not count as a stitch. Then we are going to puff right here in this chain space. 1, 2, 3. Framework rows always start with a puff stitch. Always. This side right here, and you'll see in a minute when I show you an example, this is all puffs going down this row, so that's important. Okay. So now we are going to chain 1. That chain 1 begins our repeat. We are going to half double crochet in the next chain space, and we need to do that twice. Did I say chain 1? Half double crochet. Do it again, chain 1 in the next chain space, half double crochet. Chain 1. And then in this last chain space, we are going to work the ending of the framework. The ending of the framework rows are always the same. That's 3 half double crochets separated by chain 1 spaces, all in that same space. So we're going to half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet, chain 1, and one final half double crochet. That is row 4. So let's move on to row 5, which is a puff round. To begin row 5, we are going to turn our work, and we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. That counts as a half double crochet and a chain 1. So puff rows always start with a little bit of framework. Remember, the framework one always starts with a puff. This one always starts with a framework. So we are going to place a half double crochet in this first chain space right there. Half double crochet, and then chain 1. Now our repeat for the puff row is chain 1, puff stitch in the next chain space. For this row, we need to do that 4 times. So this next space is right there. So we are going to, I already chained 1. Yeah, I did. So we're going to puff 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over, pull through all 7, chain 2, close. That is 1 of 4 that we need to do. So we're going to chain 1, go into the next chain space, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, close, chain 1. That was 2 repeats. Moving into the third, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through all 7, chain 2, close. Now this is our final repeat, chain 1, puff stitch in the next chain space, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through all, chain 1, 2, close. So that is the end of row 5. I'm going to zip through these repeats for you one more time before I leave you. I'm going to show you what row 6 and row 7 would look like, just to make sure that you've got the repeats in your brain. So let's do a framework. So we're going to turn our work, and remember, we're on the puff side, and frameworks always begin with puffs. So we're going to chain 1, and then we are going to put a puff stitch right here. Chain 1 to close. Now we're doing framework, and that's the half double crochets with the chain 1 spaces in between. So we're going to chain 1, and then in this space, half double crochet. Chain 1, half double crochet. Chain 1, half double crochet on this side of our last puff. Chain 1, and now we're at the end, and remember, framework always ends with 3 half double crochets separated by a chain 1. So here we go. Half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet, chain 1, and half double crochet. So that's our framework, and that was row 6. So row 7 is going to be a puff row. Puff rows always begin with a little bit of framework. So we're going to chain 3, 2, 3. That counts as a half double crochet and a chain 1. Chain 1 in this first chain space, not chain 1, half double crochet. So sorry. Now we are going to begin the repeats of the puffs. So chain 1, puff in the next chain space. 1, 2, 3. Chain to close, chain 1, puff stitch in the next chain space. Chain to close, chain 1, puff in the next chain space. Chain to close, chain 1, puff in the next chain space. Chain to close, chain 1. And this is our last one because we only have one more chain space left, so we need to puff here. 1, 2, and 3. And chain to close. Don't forget to chain close your puffs. So you can see how we are increasing by 1 each row we go through. See, we have right here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puffs. This was our last puff row. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are increasing each row that we go through. We are increasing the repeats. For the framework, it's the chain 1 half double crochet. So each row that you go up, they're always going to start the same. They are always going to end the same. But the repeats in the center are what increase by 1 each row. And I will show you, I know that it looks a little bit crazy right now. It does. It looks a little bit crazy right now, but I can show you one that has been worked up so you can see that it does actually start to make a little bit of sense. See, we were all the way down here with our work, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing all the way up to row 110. I'm not going to stay with you and show you each individual row because there really is no point to doing it. But what I will do is I will give you a little bit of a helpful tip. In the written pattern, you can go and you can download this. You can print this out, and it has tick marks where you can check each individual row, and it goes all the way down to row 110. And the cool thing about this is it gives you how many repeats. So this is a puff stitch. Row 3 is a puff stitch, and it tells you what the repeat is, and it tells you that you should have 3 of those. So on this row, you're going to have 3 puff stitches. If you count and you don't have 3 puff stitches, you know that you're in trouble. If you're down here and you're on row 91, then this is a puff stitch row, so you should have 47 puff stitches there. The other cool thing about this is these highlighted rows, or the bold print, those are the rows where you change color to your color 2. And it doesn't matter how you change color, and you can continue on traditional ways. You can break off the yarn. Well, you have to break off the yarn because there is no finishing edge here. For the puff round, Russell designed this to be bumpy as a design element. So if you want to carry the yarn, if you're thinking about carrying the yarn, that's not going to be a good idea because we have no way to cover that up because this is a design element. So don't carry your yarn, break off your yarn. I know that people like to not weave in ends whenever possible, but sometimes you just have to. So if you want to start these with standing stitches, you can. If you want to change yarn traditional way, you can. It's all up to you. I started with standing stitches for mine because I am a fan of standing stitches. So with those helpful tips, hopefully that's going to help you out some. Just keep repeating row 4 and 5 and increasing the repeats by 1 all the way up to row 110, and I will meet you back for row 111 where we will start the lace work for this. Okay, we are back for row 111, and I wanted to show you guys real quick. I didn't just tell you guys to use the nifty little chart. I used the nifty little chart myself. This thing is so helpful whenever you need to get up and walk away and come back to keep track of the rows that you were on and all of the stitch counts. So just wanted to show you guys, I actually used it. So row 111 is not anything that we are not familiar with. It's another puff round, okay? We're switching colors over. I'm going to start you on it, not going to stay with you for the entire thing because that's 57 puff stitches and I don't think that you want to watch me do that, but it's in color 2. So remember, I told you that I prefer standing stitches. If you are changing colors traditionally, you're going to start row 111 with a chain 3. But that chain 3 counts as a half double crochet and a chain 1. So I am going to go into this stitch here and place a half double crochet. If I can get into it, I might be able to, maybe. But because I'm on camera, it's going to give me issues, of course. And I have a knot there, so it's giving me double problems. See if you guys think that you're the only ones that have issues. You're not. Come on. There we go. Whew. Finally. Mercy. All right. Standing half double crochet. So we're going to pull through. Ooh, they're getting tight. There we go. And there we go. And then a chain 1. So that's our first stitch for this. Remember, if you're changing colors traditionally, you will just do a chain 3. Now we are going to place a half double crochet in this first chain space here, and then start our repeat, chain 1 puffs all the way down to the end. Lots of them. Oh, I need one more. So work your puff row, and we will meet back here for row 112. Row 112 is another repeat of a framework row, but It's a little bit different because we are staying in color number 2. Previously, whenever we were working with color 2, we would only do 1 row of it. But this is the end of the shawl, and this is building up for our lace work at the edge of the shawl. So we are going to turn our work and then we are going to chain 1 just as we've always done, but we're just going to stay in color 2. We're going to put a puff stitch right there in that first chain space. Chain to close, chain 1. You should be very familiar with this. It's just a regular framework row, chain 1, half double crochet in the chain space all the way to the end, and the ending is the exact same as it has been previously. 3 half double crochet separated by chain 1 spaces. So go ahead and work through row 112. We will meet back here for row 113, and I promise that, oh, I tried to do a puff there. I promise it's going to be different. We're going to have different, guys. See you then. Okay, to begin row 113, we are going to turn our work. Turn there. And now we are going to chain 3. That counts as a half double crochet and a chain 1. 1, 2, and 3. Now we are going to half double crochet in this first chain space right there. Half double crochet. And now we are going to chain 1, and then in the next chain space, we're going to place a puff there. 1, 2, 3. Chain to close. Now we need to chain 1, and this begins our repeat. This is where we are going to get a little bit different. So we're going to skip this next chain space, and in the following chain space we're going to place a treble. So that's yarn over twice, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be working around this post that we just created, okay? It's going to be a little bit crazy, but it will turn out in the end, I promise. So we're going to work a puff, and then chain 1, and then half double crochet, chain 1, and then a puff all around this post here. So let's work our puff around. Chain 1 to close the puff. Move this over just a little bit. Chain 1 and half double crochet, and then chain 1, and then another puff around that post. Chain 1 to close. So it looks a little bit crazy right now, but that's okay. It's completely okay. So right here in this next chain space, this is where we are going to go. We need to chain 1, and we're going to place a puff stitch right there in the very next chain space. And then chain 1. That is our repeat. We're going to need to do that repeat 19 times. Okay, so I'm going to walk through it with you one more time. We're going to skip this stitch right here, or the space rather, and go to this next chain space, work a treble. So that's yarn over twice, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to work a puff around this post. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through all 7, chain to close, chain 1, half double crochet, around the post, chain 1, puff stitch, 1, 2, 3, chain 2 close, chain 1 in this next chain space, puff stitch, 1, 2, and 3, yarn over, pull through all, chain to close, and then chain 1. That is our repeat, guys. You're going to continue working this all the way down to the end. You have to do this 17 more times, okay? And I will meet you back here for I keep trying to say round, for row 114. For row 114, we are going to begin by turning our work. Whoop. It's getting a bit big. It's trying to fall off the table on me. Okie dokie. We are going to chain 1, and then we are going to place a puff in this first chain space. 1, 2, 3. Pull through all, chain 2 close. Now we are going to begin the repeat for this row. We are going to half double crochet in the next chain space, which is between the half double crochet and the first puff stitch that we come to. So we're just going to dive right in there and half double crochet. Whoop. We did not chain 1 first. I lied. We chain 1 first, and then half double crochet in the next chain space, which is between the puff and the half double. And then we will chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in the next chain space, which is between the half and the puff. Single. Now we are going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that is the end of the repeat. So I'm going to go through it with you one more time. We've chained 4. We are going to go straight over here. We're going to skip all of this right here. We're going to go straight over here and place a half double crochet in the chain space between this puff and the half double crochet. And then chain 1, and then place a single crochet in the next chain space, and then chain 4, 1, 2, 3. So that is your repeat for this row. You're going to work it all the way down to the end, a total of 19 times. So you need to do what we just did 17 more times. And when you do, you will end up right here, and you'll have your chain 4. You're going to jump over this, and you're going to end it the same way we ended all of the framework. We are going to half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet. So it's the same ending to the framework. We're just going to put it right there. So when you get finished with that, I will meet you back for row 115. To begin row 115, we are going to turn our work, and we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. That counts as a half double crochet and a chain 1. Now we are going to half double crochet in this first chain space. And then we are going to begin our repeat for this row. We're going to chain 1, and we are going to puff in this chain space right here. 1, 2, 3. And now we are going to chain 1 once more, and then we are going to puff stitch in the chain 4 space. 1, 2, 3, And now we're going to do that again. So we will chain 1 and then puff in the chain 4 space. 1, 2, 3. And that's our repeat. We're going to repeat this all the way down 19 times. We just did it there. I'm going to show you one more time. There is a chain space here. Remember, we had a half double crochet and then a chain and then a single crochet in the chain spaces. We're going to be working in this chain space right there. We are going to chain 1 and then puff stitch. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to chain 1 in this chain 4 space. We are going to chain 1, puff, chain 1, puff. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1 and puff. 1, 2, 3. So that's your repeat. You're going to do that 17 more times until you get all the way down here to the end. And you'll see that your last puff will be in this chain 4 space. So what you will do is you will chain 1, puff in this chain space, chain 1 and puff in this last chain space. So you're just going to have 2 chain 1 puffs here at the end to finish off this row. Go ahead and work that repeat and we will meet back for row 116. To begin row 116, we are going to turn our work and then we are going to chain 1. And this is another framework, just like we did at for the main body of the shawl. Is exactly the same thing. So we're going to place a puff here in this first chain space. 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to move into our repeat, which is chain 1, half double crochet in the next chain space. We're going to do that 58 times. So there's a chain 1 and then a half double crochet and chain 1, half double crochet in the next chain space, all the way down, guys, all the way down. And then as you ended the other framework rows, you are going to end it the exact same way. In that very last chain space, you are going to half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet to finish off the row. Go ahead, pause the video, work your way down to the end of this row. We are going to change colors to color number 1 for row number 117. Row 17, I have already cut off my work because I am not changing colors in the traditional manner. I am working with standing stitches. So if you were changing colors in the traditional manner, you will chain 3 here, and that counts as a half double crochet and a chain 1. But I am going to do a standing half double crochet. Here, standing half double crochet. I'm not getting my ends stuck in there. There we go. Standing half double crochet and a chain 1. This is a very, very familiar round. We have also done this one several times. This is a puff round. So we are going to place a half double crochet in this first chain space right here. And then we are going to chain 1. And then in the next chain space, puff stitch all the way across, all the way across. There is 60 puffs in this round. Don't forget to chain in between your puffs. Work them however long it takes you. This is a long stretch, but it's okay. You can make it. We will meet again for row 118. To begin row 118, we are going to turn our work, and this is a framework row. So we are going to chain 1 just to bring us up to height. We're going to place a puff stitch in this first chain space here, and then framework. So we are going to chain 1 and then half double crochet all the way across, half double crochet in each chain space, separated by a chain 1. And then when you get to the end, as with all of the other frameworks, in your last chain space you are going to place half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet, chain 1. And when you get finished with that, we will meet back for row 119. To begin row 119, we are going to turn our work, which I have already done, and then we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now this chain 3 counts as a half double crochet and a chain 1. We're going to half double crochet in the next chain space, and then in the very next chain space right here, we are going to chain 1 and then puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, and then chain 1 again. Now we are going to begin our repeat. So we are going to skip this next chain space, and then we are going to treble in the following chain space. So that's 2 yarn overs, now we're going to work around this treble. Remember, we did this once before. So we're going to puff 1, 2, 3, and then chain 1, then half double crochet around that post, and then chain 1, and then we are going to puff 1, 2, 3. Now we are going to chain 1, and then in this next chain space place a puff, and then chain 1. So that is our repeat. I'm going to go through it one more time with you. We are going to skip the next stitch right here, and then in the following stitch place a treble, working around, oh, that was a double. That's why that looked funky. Treble, guys, don't do a double. 1, 2, 3. That's better. Now working around this, we are going to puff, and then chain 1, half double crochet, chain 1, and puff. Now in this next chain space, chain 1 and then puff stitch. And chain 1. That is your repeat. You need to do this a total of 20 times, so we've already done it 2 times, so that means 18 more times all the way down to the end. So your last stitch is going to be this puff stitch right there. Okay, so go ahead and do that. We will meet back for row 120. To begin row 120, we're going to turn our work, which I have already done. Then we're going to chain 1. That chain 1, again, as always, does not count as a stitch. It's just to bring us up to height. We are going to place a puff stitch in this first chain space. 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to chain 1, and now we're going to begin the repeat. Ooh, I lost my train of thought there. In this first chain space between the half double crochet and the puff stitch, we are going to place a half double crochet. We've done this row once before, so it should be familiar to you. And then we are going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet in the chain space between the half double and the puff over here. Then we are going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that is the end of the repeat. Honest to goodness. From here on out, we're going to be doing a half double crochet in this chain space, then a single crochet in that chain space, chain 4, all the way down. So I'll go through it with you one more time. We're going to skip all of this right here, go right to this chain space between this half double and this puff over here, and we're going to place a half double crochet there. Half double crochet, chain 1, and then single crochet in that next chain space. Then chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This row will end just like our framework rows, and just like the previous one that we did. It was this row right here. When you get over here in this last chain space right here, you're going to work a half double, chain 1, half double, chain 1, half double. Just like we ended all of the other frameworks, it's going to end the exact same way. So you're going to chain 4 from here and then end with the framework. So go ahead and work all of that all the way down. Shouldn't take you too long, and we will be right back for row 121. To begin row 121, we're going to turn our work. I have already done that, and we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. That counts as a half double crochet and a chain 1. We've also already have done this row once before. We're going to do it one more time. So we are going to, our first stitch is going to be a half double crochet in this chain space. Maybe, there we go. Half double crochet in the chain space, and then we are going to chain 1. And this begins our repeat. And we're going to place a puff in this next chain space. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to chain 1, and now we are going to place 2 puffs separated by a chain 1 in this chain 4 space. 1, 2, 3, chain to close, chain 1, and then another puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, chain to close out that puff stitch. Now we are going to chain 1, and we are going to place a puff stitch in the chain space. That's kind of hard to see, but it's right there between that half double crochet and the single crochet. Puff stitch, chain to close, chain 1. We're back to the chain 4 space, so we're going to puff, chain 1, place another puff in that same chain space, And that is the repeat all the way down. When you get to the end, you are going to have one more chain space left. I lied, you will have 2 more chain spaces left, and you will chain 1, puff stitch in those 2 chain spaces, and then you will be finished until row 122. Row 122 is a super easy one. This is a framework row. So you're going to turn your work, which I have already done, and you are going to chain 1 just to bring us up to height. In this first chain space, we are going to puff. It's the same as all of the other framework rows. So we are going to begin by chaining 1 and then half double crochet in the chain space. And then we are going to half double crochet, skip that stitch, and half double crochet. It's a framework row all the way over to the end, just half double crochets in every single chain space, separated by chain 1s. You are going to end this row the same way we have ended all of the other framework rows, 3 half double crochets separated by chain 1 spaces. We are also going to change colors to color number 2 for the last time for this project at the end of this row. So if you change colors traditionally, then keep that in mind for the next row. If you are like me and you like to do standing stitches for your first or whenever you change colors, get prepared for that. You're going to fasten off at the end of this row after you do the 3 half double crochets separated by chain 1s, all in the last chain space. So go ahead and work your way to the end. It should be super, super quick. I think I'm already a third of the way through this row just sitting here talking to you. So we'll see you in just a minute. Row 123 is another very, very familiar row. This is a puff row. So because I prefer standing stitches versus changing colors in the traditional manner, I am going to start out by placing a half double crochet and then a chain 1 here in this first stitch after I've turned my work. By the way, make sure you turn your work. If you are changing in the traditional manner, you're just going to chain 3. So I'm going to yarn over and then, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. And place my standing half double crochet without getting my tail in the way. Hey, act right. Thank you. Standing half double crochet. There we go. And chain 1. Now, as all of the other puff rows have gone, in this first chain space, we are going to place a half double crochet right there in that first chain space, and then we are going to chain 1, puff stitch in the next chain space, chain to close, chain 1, puff stitch in the next chain space, all the way across, guys, all the way across. When we get to the end of this row, you are going to fasten off if you change colors like I do. If not, prepare yourself for another change of color, because we are going to go back to color 1 for the last 2 rows of the project. See you for row 124. Row 124 is a framework row. The only difference with this framework row is that we are changing colors. So if you have changed colors traditionally, then you are going to chain 1 and then puff stitch in this first chain space. If you are like me and you are doing standing stitches, then you're going to change back to color number 1, and you're just going to make a standing puff stitch right here in this first chain space. There you go, standing puff stitch right there. Now this is a framework row, so it's super, super easy. Half double crochets in every chain space, separated by a chain one. When you get to the end, you are going to make sure that you end it the same way that you've ended all of the other framework rows, and that's 3 half double crochets separated by a chain one, all in that last chain space. And then when you get there, we are going to meet back here for the last and final row of the project. Row 125 is our final row for the shawl. Super exciting. We've been together for a while now. It begins by turning your work, which I have already done. We are going to chain 3. That counts as a half double crochet and a chain 1. This is a puff row. So we've done this many times. It's just the last time we are going to do it. So that starts with a half double crochet in the first chain space, and then chain 1, and like all of the other ones, puff stitch, chain 1, puff stitch, chain 1 in all of the chain spaces, all the way down to the end. There is a lot of them, but take heart. This is the very last row, the very last one. So when you get finished with this one, you can weave in your ends, you can block it, and then you can take pictures of it, and you can post it in the It's Crochet O'Clock Facebook group so we can all congratulate you, mark you safe from all of these puff stitches, and look at all of the glory that you just created. So I am going to finish this. I am going to weave in my own ends, and then I am going to block this and take some photos, and I will share them with you in just a moment. I'm also going to share some of the tester photos with you, because boy, did they make some beautiful, gorgeous shawls. So here we go with those. And here we are with the finished shawl. Obviously, it's far too big for me to get all into one frame, so I am going to insert some pictures for you so you can see what my completed shawl looks like. I'm also going to insert some photos from the testers so you can see what different colors, color combinations they have decided to work their shawl in. Don't forget, mine was in Paris as the main color, and then Fawn as the accent color. Thank you for watching the tutorial. I hope it was helpful for you. Please remember that the written pattern is in the description box below. Also, the link to the It's Crochet O'Clock Facebook group is below, where you can get some help if you need it further than the videos. And Russell's Instagram is below, so that is how you can continue to follow him. See you next time.